Hello, and welcome to the introduction video for Monday's lesson. Let's get right into it, because this is like the sixth time I made this video, and it wouldn't upload because it was too long, so let's start, all right? This is the first lesson that's gonna open our unit 1, First Civilizations, and today's aim is, how did geography facilitate, limit, and shape the development of early civilizations? All right, that's the aim for today. The objectives: after today's lesson, you will be able to understand how enduring issues influence the location of early settlements. Now, you should already be having a inkling or excitement because you know what enduring issues are. This is the lesson that we did on Friday, all right? And the vocabulary words that's going to be embedded or infused in this lesson, it's going to be social inequality and cultural diffusion. Okay, so when you see those, when those words appear, they will be highlighted in green throughout the lesson. All right, that's evidence of me doing the video like 50 times. So let's get right into the routine of things. We're always gonna start with the introduction and the daily check-in. All right, this video that I'm currently recording right now will be embedded here for those of us who was absent or we didn't do the homework. We need to do the homework. But if you didn't, it's going to be embedded here to help you be successful in today's lesson. As always, we will always open with what is the word of the day. The word of the day I will provide to you at the end of this lesson. So watch the lesson in its entirety so you can get the skills and knowledge you need to be successful, as well as the word of the day. Remember, that is the first question we open up the lesson with. So you want to know that so you can get your 100 points for your homework. Following that is always going to be one question that breaks the ice and opens up the lesson. And today is a match. It's a match lesson. All right. So you're going to using the knowledge from the Friday's lesson. You're going to recall from Friday's lesson and match the enduring issue to its definition. So anytime there's a matching situation, I like to see what I'm working with first. So let me see what type of enduring issues is provided there for me. So I got the impact of geography, migration, impact of technology, and social inequality. So that is what I know that my brain needs to be looking for as I read the statements on the other side. Excuse me. So I'm gonna do the first two with you so you know what to expect tomorrow, and so you have a treat. You'll have the answers, all right? Be ready to go. So let's do the first one together. Humans move around in search of better living situations. So now I'm gonna look at my column here. Is that an impact of geography? Excuse me. Is that an impact of geography? Is that an example of migration? Is that an example of impact of technology or social inequality? Some keywords in this statement for me is humans move around, all right? And what I know of migration is that humans move around. People move around in search of a better living situation or food or whatever, you know? So in my gut, I'm gonna go with number one, being an example of migration. So I'm just gonna put one there because that's the answer I chose. And you don't have to do this part, but I like to do this. I like to highlight the answer that I already chose so I know that it's off limits and I can't choose it again. All right, let's do the second one. The Earth's physical characteristics affects human life. Now, when I think of the Earth characteristics, I think of stuff like precipitation, rain, snow, global warming, the heat. I think of stuff that's happening in an environment like COVID, coronavirus, you know, the flu, sicknesses, diseases. I think of stuff like that. So let me go to my enduring issues and see which one correlates. Is the human's physical characteristics affects us? Is that an example of the impact of geography? Is it an example of the impact of technology? Or is it an example of social inequality? Now, some keywords here for me is Earth's physical characterizations. So anytime I hear the word Earth or land or environment, I already know that I'm talking about geography, all right? So the one that I'm gonna go with here is that number two is an example of an impact of geography. That's the enduring issue I'm gonna go with. So I'm putting my two here to let my teacher know that that's my answer, and I'm going to highlight. You don't have to highlight, I just do this so my brain don't go crazy. I'm going to highlight number two, so I know that it's off limits and I can't put it again, all right? So you're going to do this for your opening introduction. I already gave you the first two answers, and then you're going to complete this, you complete the chart, all right? 3 and 4, you're going to match impact of technology and social inequality, all right? So moving forward. So after we do the introduction and the daily check-in, what's next, guys? Exactly, the guided practice. Now, this is the reason why my video was so long, because I was actually showing the video in the video. I was showing you the video of me doing the guided practice while recording this video. Don't judge me, okay? I won't do that again. I won't do it again because we're already coming up to 5 minutes already. So I won't do that again. However, there is a video embedded in this worksheet to give you a view of what it is that is expected of you in your independent practice. I'm going to briefly go through it so you know what the video is, it tells, but the video is there for you. So your guided practice lets you know what's expected. So for your independent practice, you're going to read a source. You're going to annotate that source for evidence of enduring issues. And remember, the enduring issues is the lesson we had on Friday. So we are familiar with enduring issues already. So you're going to annotate for evidence to help you understand what is happening in the text. What enduring issue is that an example of? Then after you do that, you're going to determine what the main idea of the text is. So after you annotate it for your evidence of the enduring issue, you can pull from that to let your teacher know what the main idea of the text is, all right? And then after you say the main idea, there's going to be a column or a list of enduring issues that you're going to then select the example of. Just like we did in the do now, the match, you're going to do it independently, okay? So I'm going to briefly do source 2 with you so you know what to expect. And again, briefly, so you know what to expect. And then we're going to move on. So independent practice, this is going to be your first source. Again, please remember to watch the video of me doing source 1 if you're completely clueless. But I'm going to go through it with you really quick here so we know what to do. So on the on start, I'm going to look at the source and understand what I'm looking at. So the source, I can see that it's already depicting the cycle of the Nile River flood, all right, because that's the title of it. And it's also taking place, it's depicting the life in ancient Egypt. And I got that all from just the top, the title and then the source information, all right? So I already know that I'm going to be looking at something that's having to do with the Nile River flood in ancient Egypt. So over here on the side, I can see already the time of the year it is. I can see that it's flood season, planting and growing season, harvest season, and it also tells me when it is. So from mid-June to October, mid-October to February, and mid-February to June. So these are the times of the years. And then over here on this side, it's telling me what's happening during those times, all right? So during the mid-June and October, we see that the fields in the Nile floodplains covered in water and fertilized by a new batch of silt. So although there's a flood happening in the Nile River, that flood is bringing in a new batch of silt. And silt is just wet sand. And that wet sand is used to fertilize the crops and the plants. So that's actually a positive thing. And while that is happening, the farmers can kind of take a load off. You know, they don't have to continue their regular everyday farming duties because they can now do things like repair canals and quarrying, because the Nile is actually fertilizing their crops. So that's helpful. And then moving forward, you see that the Nile was high enough to fill irrigations. So that water came in and filled up the irrigations, and it was able to help the crops and plants be tended to. So again, that's helping the farmers and that's helping the crops. That water it's really helpful. That flood, when you hear flood, you think of, oh my God, but this Nile flood river cycle is proven to be helpful to the environment and to the crops. All right, so during mid-February and June, the crops in the lower Nile is harvested and sent to the market. So now we have this fresh crops, we have all of this abundance of crops, and now we're ready to give it to the market so that way we can sell it or give it to other people for their nourishment. So that sounds really good to me. So now we're gonna come down. So you read all of the discussions, or you read what's going on in each part of the season or each part of the year. You read what's going on. You read about the Nile flood. So what is the main idea of this source? What are we talking about here? We're going to record that down here. I'm not going to give it to you, okay, because I shared the information that's in the text, so you can use that to be able to determine what the main idea of this source is, all right? Now, if you see that we were talking about the land, the water, the crops, and again, I stated before, when you hear stuff about the land, the environment, and the crops and stuff like that, think of geography. And when we think of geography, we also going to think of the enduring issue that's related to that. So right off the bat, you do want to go through all of them to see what you're working with, but right off the bat, your brain already want to know that we're talking about water, crops, and land. So you want to select the enduring issue that's relevant to the source, and I chose impact of geography, all right? So that's a treat for those of us who did the homework. There is the answer for source 2. You're gonna do source 3 by yourself. You're gonna annotate it, look at it, come down here, give me the main idea, and then choose your enduring issue. After the independent practice, guys, what comes next? You got it, the exit ticket. Now, the exit ticket will always be what question? The aim question. So it's never going to be something new. It's always going to be something that we saw on the onset of class, that we talked through, we worked through, and you should have the tools and the knowledge now to be able to answer this. Last week, we were only answering this in 2 or more sentences. Moving forward, now that we're into the school year and that we're into the units, we want to produce 5 or more sentences, which is a paragraph. Don't fret, because we have this scaffold here that's going to help you be able to get to that point. So we're going to continue to write the 2 or more sentences, but we're going to start to use this tool to help us develop our paragraphs, 5 or more sentences. All right, so each category breaks down each step of the paragraph. So it's going to help you learn to develop your topic sentence, your introduction of evidence, your evidence. It's going to help you be able to wrap out that whole paragraph by discussing the evidence and providing a conclusion. Don't worry. Produce your 2 or more paragraphs to respond to this, your 2 or more sentences to respond to this. And as we go each day, we will build up our writing stamina, all right? After the exit ticket, you know what comes next, the next steps. Please watch this video to prepare for Tuesday's lesson, all right? If you do not watch the video, you won't be completely prepared and you will not have the word of the day to begin the class. This is considered a homework assignment, and this is where you rake up your 100 points. Don't let the 100 points just go by, all right? Use this video to prepare yourself for tomorrow's lesson or the next day's lesson, and also accrue or get your 100 points for your homework. All right, so now the video is coming to an end, and I'm going to share with you the word of the day for Monday's lesson. So the word of the day for Monday's lesson is nomad. The word of the day for Monday's lesson is nomad. And a nomad is kind of like a hunter or a gatherer, someone who moves around from place to place in search of a better living situations or food or crops. I consider myself a nomad growing up because I never stayed in one school or one place. I was always moving around and had to restart over every year or so, or every 2 years. So that was how I was able to understand the term nomad and make that connection from the past or the history to my current day life. So just as I made that connection, I want you guys to start getting in the habit of pulling your own self into the history or into these lessons to make that real world connection, all right? So again, the word of the day for Monday is nomad. Remember that when we open up the class. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all have a beautiful and blessed rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow bright and early. Bye.